Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Spill the D. My name is Gina. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined here, as always, with my handsome co-host, Rick. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Just had an awesome dinner, so I'm thriving. I'm ready to roll.
Dinner was very good.
Yeah. Cheeseburger bowls. You heard it here first. It's like Chipotle, but instead of rice, you use potatoes because it's like French fries.
Yeah.
And then just meat.
Whatever you put on a cheeseburger. Pickles, tomatoes.
We should have bacon in it.
Ooh,
We
that
have
would be good.
bacon bits. That would have been so good. We messed up.
Yeah. Next time.
That's okay. We're not here to talk about cheeseburger bowls anyway. We're here to talk about Disney and the unwritten rules of Disney. This is today's episode. These are things that are just like Disney park etiquette that like you don't have to do them, but it'd be really cool if you did.
Yeah. It's not illegal. You're probably not going to get kicked out for most of it.
Most of it.
There's a few things that if you take it too far, you might, but we'll go over that.
We'll get there. But for the most part, it is just like this is how we respect each other in Disney kind of thing.
And this is just how Disney works.
A lot of it too is like this could apply to most theme parks.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a lot of it is like this could go for most theme parks, most amusement parks, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
This list is gonna work. So. But before we do that, we do have two pieces of news today, both pretty big in their own way. One more than the other, but kind of also not.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that one. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so there was a conference that Bob Iger was a part of. For those of you who don't know, Bob Iger is the CEO of Disney.
True. It was the Morgan Stanley conference.
The Morgan Stanley conference.
Stanley Morgan? Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley. And
what is that? Do you know?
Morgan Stanley?
Yes.
I think it's just like a financial firm, isn't it?
I have no idea. You could tell me anything right now and I'd be like, yeah.
Financial firm, that's what we're going with.
You could be like, it's a fast food restaurant. And I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Morgan Stanley convention. And conference. Morgan Stanley conference. And we got some super vague news, but we got news nonetheless. So in this conference, Bob Iger highlighted the fact that Disney has the capabilities and potential to build 7 new lands. Now, this is all over Disney property. So there's already Pandora being speculated in Disneyland, California.
He hinted at that one.
Yeah, there's also been mentions of other things happening over in Asia and Europe as far as expansions go. But what he did say that I thought was interesting is that in California, they apparently have like the capacity to make it 50% bigger than it is
Which
currently.
Is crazy because if you look at it online, like on Google Maps, it looks pretty landlocked, like pretty trapped by the world around it. So that's very interesting to me that they can expand it by 50%.
And that's the thing that he mentioned in the conference too, is that's kind of the stereotype around Disneyland is it's kind of where it is and you can't really do anything with it. But he did mention that there is room to be able to do that. So, like I said, super vague conference here. We didn't get too much specific information, just the fact that they could potentially do it if they want to. The other thing that was mentioned is that they are already in the process of building 3 brand new cruise ships. Because they didn't just come out with one. No, they did not.
And they're not about to come out with another.
But the idea behind some of these, from what they said, is to start expanding Disney Cruise Line into Asia. Yeah, expand into Asia with some new cruise ships. So look out for that.
You don't need more land for cruise ships.
Exactly. You just need more ocean, which we have a lot of.
We have plenty of that. What is the Earth? 70% water?
Yeah, and only 2% of it or something like that has been explored.
Well, that's talking like bottom of the ocean. We're going to hope none of these ships end up there. Come on. What?
Just saying.
No, this all makes me laugh because I feel like Disney lately has been doing a lot of, well, we could do this. You wait and see. This could happen. And then like maybe one of like the 5 things they say happens. Because I feel like they're just trying to hype up shareholders and hype up the park's guests and things like that and keep people wanting more, which they're doing a good job. I want to know what these 7 lands are, although a big part of me thinks most of them are going to end up in other countries.
Yeah, I can't imagine too many of them ending up in Walt Disney World in Florida.
Build another park.
Fair. To me, a lot of this just seems like I don't really know the correct phrase to use, the correct appropriate phrase to use here. But it seems like they're just trying to keep up in a way, like with the hype because of everything that's going on with Universal right now with Nintendo and DreamWorks and all that. Like they got a lot in the works at Universal right now, and Disney, as far as we know, besides Tiana's Bayou Adventure, doesn't really have too much in the works. So I think part of it is kind of like a, hey, just so you know, we didn't forget about the fact that we have to keep growing. Um, we're just not yet.
Maybe. I'm thinking real hard right now.
Fully
There's smoke
speculative.
coming out of my ears. I'd like to see the numbers, but in my opinion, I don't think on paper that they are as big of rivals as people make them out to be.
I
I don't think Disney is really worried about that's like being first in a race. You don't turn around and look at the people behind you. You keep moving forward.
yeah.
So I don't know if I agree with that. Like I said, I think that's more of a man-made like thing that they are opponents, and maybe to Universal they are, but I don't know how much Disney is competing with them. At least not the high people. There might be some people in the middle who are like, "Oh crap, Universal's opening a third
Hmm.
park. Maybe we should think about doing this, doing that." But like I think at the end of the day when it's on paper, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how much makes it past the drawing board with that idea in mind.
Okay.
But that's just me. I could be totally wrong. I'd have to see the numbers. This is just my thought where my
Yeah.
brain goes when you say that. I'm like, I don't know, especially when you consider like everything. Like if we bring
Yeah.
in the cruise line, like stuff like that. I don't know. I'm
Yeah. I
gonna
mean, you've made the argument before, and I completely agree that Disney is a step ahead of Universal at the moment.
but Universal's
But
playing catch up.
they are, and they're
Mhm.
playing it very well and very quickly
Mhm.
with the addition of Nintendo and DreamWorks because they are two incredibly massive IPs as far as popularity goes.
Mhm. Well, they've
And
had DreamWorks. We're building the DreamWorks land and everything.
that's what I
Did
mean.
you see the
Yeah, like
Shrek play area?
no, I haven't.
They built a swamp play area.
I remember seeing the swamp being built when we were there.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a play area kids can run
Yeah.
around.
Okay.
I'm kids. I will run around. I really hope there's not a height maximum.
But yeah,
I am 12.
with the addition of the DreamWorks IP and not most of a few of the big Nintendo IPs into their new land, I think
Park. Epic Universe.
yeah, and I think as much as you want to say you're the person in first, not looking back, I think you're kind of nervous
Then they
being the
need.
person in first, and I think that's why they're doing this stuff. They're like, hey, we could do it. We're just not right now.
I think the other thing too, and I'm sorry, you guys, we can stop talking about this in a minute if you want. This is more just us. This just turned into what we would talk about over dinner. So I think the other thing too, though, is Walt Disney World has been open since 1971. Universal opened in the 80s because it opened right around the same time as Hollywood Studios. So could have been the 90s.
I think it was the 90s.
Well, Hollywood Studios was 89, I believe. So it could have been like 90. But Walt Disney World for years was expanding. They were building more parks. They opened in 1971, and from there to 1998, they opened 4 parks total. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot to do in
Mhm.
that short amount of time. That's only 27 years. So they did so much with the parks, and then have since kind of like they've changed things in the parks, but they haven't gone too crazy. They did for a little bit. They did Toy Story Land, they did Galaxy's Edge, but they haven't built another park. They haven't gone super insane. And now it's the time where Universal is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
like Universal is like they more built and sustained for so long and did the same as Disney where they made small changes here and there, but they haven't had their like big thing.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong though, guys. I'm more of a Disney person. Universal is more just from like the outside looking in. I go to Universal, but not as much as Disney. So
I think Disney. I feel like Disney's made more changes to the European and Asian Disneys in recent years,
yeah, I
and I
agree.
think that's part of the
There's
reason.
probably
that,
more space.
I think that's part of the reason that it seems like it hasn't really done anything in the past few years because we don't go to those.
But that's what I mean by on paper.
Yeah.
Like when you actually look at it on paper, they have to be so far ahead with the more parks in more countries, with the cruise
Yeah.
line, with the movies. Not that Universal's enough movies, but it's
Yeah.
different calibers, like different things, the streaming systems, like all of that. I'd love to see the numbers. I would love to. I'm probably am going to forget as soon as we get done recording. I'm not going to remember any of this, and I'm not going to look it up. But while I'm editing, actually, I'll probably be looking it up while editing because I'm going to remember. Okay, I'm sorry. So the other piece of news that is something very fun for our Star Wars fans out there. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that that's not us. So I would like to preemptively ask your forgiveness when we try and say these names. Star Tours is now including some new characters, some of which are from The Mandalorian, the famous show on Disney Plus, world famous for being world famous.
And notably, it's not just these characters being added. There's a whole bunch of new simulations and like quote unquote adventures that you could potentially be going on in Star Tours. And I think I saw a number. I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm going to say it anyway. Somewhere around like 750 different experiences that you can have on Star Tours.
Because like the different combinations.
Yeah, because of the different combinations.
I guess we'll have to ride it that many times.
No thanks.
You get sick after one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, so the characters that they are adding. Again, please forgive me. Ashoka Tano.
I think it's Ahsoka.
Ashoka?
I think it's Ahsoka, yeah.
Ahsoka or Ashoka? Oh, the H is before the S. Ahsoka.
Yeah. Cassian
Andor. That can't be right.
I know Andor is right because that's a place.
Din Djarin.
Never heard of that one.
Din Djarin.
What is it?
And Grogu. Okay, wait. One of them has to be the Mandalorian's actual name because Grogu's on here, and maybe that's Baby Yoda.
Maybe it's Din Djarin.
Do you think that the helmet's gonna be on, or are we gonna see Pedro Pascal? He plays the Mandalorian, right?
Yeah, he does play the Mandalorian. I don't know.
I think the helmet's gonna be on. He's gotta be expensive to get at this point.
Probably, yeah. He's everywhere these days.
Everywhere. I'd never even heard of him, and all of a sudden he was everywhere.
Just everything all at once.
That's it. That's exciting for all you Star Wars fans out there. I'm excited for you. That's a really fun thing to be added to. I like how they are constantly updating Star Tours.
Yeah, it's a weird ride though for me, like to think about all the time that they just keep updating it because it's like every other ride. I feel like if they're like this ride needs an update, they just get rid of it and put a whole new thing in. Star Tours is like we're just gonna add more. We're just gonna keep going.
It must be easy or not expensive.
Yeah.
It must not cost too much for them to figure out to change these things.
Maybe.
I don't know. Again, I'd have to see it on paper. This is all speculation. But that's it.
Yeah.
You interested in riding the new Star Tours?
I'll ride it a few times.
All right. Well, listeners, if you're interested, get your trips booked. Get to Disney. That's happening April 5th. And then it'll be there forever. So, if you want to be there, we are going to recommend that you book your trip using our friends over at 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. 407 and Beyond is a Disney and Universal Orlando travel agency, as well as Royal Caribbean, Sandals, Adventures by Disney, all that fun stuff. They book and plan family vacations to destinations such as Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, Disney Cruise Line, so much more, and it doesn't cost any extra to book with them. Their services are 100% free. Their travel agents are going to do all of the hard work so that all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. You can get your free no obligation quotes at www.407vacations.com, and the link is in our show notes, so you can just go ahead and click that if you want to get your free no obligation quote.
Do it.
Do it. Go to Disney.
Yeah. And when you're there, remember these unwritten rules that we're about to tell you.
Yes. And let us know if you agree with them. If you're a Disney regular, we want to know, do you agree with these? Or are you like, no, I do these all the time.
Yeah.
I break these rules all the time. So we have a mix here. We got some that are a little more serious, some that are a little more silly, all equally as important. So let's start with this one. So we're going to start with don't tell people. Oh, I'm sorry. There's no order to these. We're just going off. There's not an order of importance. You can decide that on your own. What's the most important out of all of these? Although I think I know mine. Okay, so number 1. Don't tell people how things work if they don't want to know.
Now, when you say this, do you mean like ride functions or just general Disney things?
General Disney things? All of it.
Okay.
I am a person who loves Disney history. I love the behind the scene tours. I love knowing how the magic is
Hmm.
made. Not everyone does. Some
People like
people
the
hate it.
illusion.
Yes, and I love giving fun facts throughout the park, but I will always ask people, do you want to know how that works? And if they tell me no, it's okay. I won't ruin that for you.
Makes sense.
And if you do get a yes, if they say, yes, I do want to know how that works, make sure there's no kids around.
True.
Make sure that there's no people around who can hear you, because just because the person I'm with wants to know doesn't mean the man standing behind me in line was interested. That might have just totally ruined his day, that his whole life he thought one thing about the ghost of the Haunted Mansion and just found out another. So just be cool.
Be conscious of where you're telling people the things.
Yes, and the volume that you are telling them it
Yeah.
at.
Don't yell it.
And if they are interested in knowing it. And this goes, like we said, maybe how rides work, how different shows work,
Yeah.
how the characters end up in certain places, just anything that seems magical. It's magic. It is. And if they don't want to know how it works, the answer is magic. Sometimes how it works is magic. So,
You want to know the first thing that comes to mind
What?
when you say this as an unwritten rule?
What?
Ariel.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil anything else for anybody. If you want to know
I think we've talked about it on here before.
We might have. If you don't know and you want to know, let us know. But it's one of those things, like you said, I don't want to spoil the magic for someone, because that definitely could.
I feel like we can say it right now and just tell people fast forward X amount of time.
No, that's okay.
Okay, Ariel and Phantasmic. Look that up if you want to know.
Or just message us on Instagram.
Yeah, do that. Message us if you want to know, and we can explain to you. But I really think we've talked about it on here before.
We might have new listeners since the last time we talked about it.
That's true. But there is a lot of things that we have ruined the magic on.
Yeah.
Magic with for the episodes. But I feel like that's a risk you take when you listen to a Disney podcast.
Yeah, also I feel like we prefaced them every time, so.
You know what really ruins magic?
What?
When we do history episodes, the dysteries.
Yeah.
Those are like, they're magic killers
Everything.
for 45 minutes straight, or just like, here's everything you want to know about popcorn stands. Like, they are intense.
Oh, we should do that. Wonder if there's
the dystery of a popcorn stand?
Popcorn stand, yeah. Or popcorn buckets?
We did the Main Street one, and there's a big chunk of that one that's about the popcorn stands. And that was one of my favorite ones to do, was just talk about Main Street for an hour. I had so much fun. There's so much history in Main Street. It's so great. While we're still on this one, this kind of leads into one that I didn't write down here, but I want to. Just want to add it, an unwritten Disney rule is do not recite the pre-show, sing the songs, any of that loud enough to ruin strangers' time.
Specifically in Haunted Mansion.
Tower of Terror is a big one too.
Tower of Terror is a big one, but I feel like Haunted Mansion is where I hear it the most.
Yeah, there's always someone. I've been that someone, but I try and do it only to him, only to the person next to me, because you might have ridden this ride 1,000 times. You might pride yourself on knowing every word that the ghost host is going to say, and that's awesome. Proud of you. It's a big achievement. That's a lot of words. But the person next to you who's never been on the ride, they're not finding it fun. They're not finding it funny or fascinating or anything. So just, if you want to do it quietly. Do it to the person next to you who you're with. Just don't be screaming it. Don't be saying it loud enough that the entire room can hear, because it could mess up someone's first time on the ride or show.
You get very close when you say it.
Oh, yeah. Whisper it hard.
Yeah.
And I only do certain words. I don't do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Although I always say the gift shop in Tower of Terror.
Yes.
That one. Time. You got to. You can't not say it. Okay. I'm sorry. Next one.
All right. Going along with rides.
Ooh, yeah.
This one is just a courtesy. Perhaps chivalrous, if you will. If you're going on a 3D ride, make sure you grab enough glasses for everybody that you're with.
I like that one.
It's not a necessity. You don't have to do it, but if you think about it from the perspective of being the person that gets handed a pair of glasses, you're like, thank you for thinking of me.
You know what's funny, though? What do you think is quicker? The person in the front grabbing 4 glasses for the group of 4? Or if everyone grabbed their own?
Oh, we're talking about efficiency?
Yeah. To be more efficient for the people in line behind you, what is actually easier? I would think if everybody sent one person to grab them all, that would be more efficient, because there wouldn't be a pileup.
Yeah.
And you would just catch back up with your group with your 4 pairs of glasses.
Yeah.
But if not everyone does that, then one person might be standing there having to count for an extra second while a pileup is happening behind. That's a tough one.
It's always nice to do, though. Just grab everybody a pair.
I agree. I like when someone hands me my glasses.
Yeah, I think it's nice.
It makes me feel thought about.
Thanks for thanking of me.
Thanks for thinking of me. It's so sweet. Says, what's he say?
Thanks for thanking of me. He says it to Captain America in Civil War.
I don't remember that.
It's
the
stuck in my head.
Smallest little.
It's stuck in my head because he says thanks for thanking of me.
Okay. Next. I don't know if we're gonna count this one as one because now that this debate isn't going back and forth in my brain of what's actually more efficient. We'll count it. Why not?
It's not necessarily efficiency though. It's just being nice.
Yeah. So it's not really an unwritten rule. It's just, hey, if you want to be nice to your group, grab them some 3D glasses.
Well,
help them out.
Nothing wrong with that.
You need your 3D glasses for rides and shows, so let's do a shows one. This one is one of my why aren't more people thinking about this? Take your ears off during a show, during the fireworks. If you have people behind you, take your ears off.
I feel like you've mentioned this one before.
I mention this one all the time. And I don't know if it's because I'm tall and I am from a tall family. My dad, when we go places, would purposely sit in the back because he never wanted to block people. So it's just something that has been ingrained in my head since I was young.
Yeah.
That you have to be aware if there are people smaller than you behind you.
Yeah. But ears, big goofy hats, anything that goes above your normal head size, take off for a show. And again, like you said, if you're tall, just be conscious of that.
See, the thing is, if you're tall, you can't help that. You were born that way. You don't have to go all the way to the back because you're tall. That's not fair to you. Like, this is life. You might have a tall person in front of you. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if there's something that you can help, like a pair of ears on your head, yes, I do think you should take them off.
Yeah.
Take them off and hold them in your hand. If you're at a show where you're sitting, you can put them on your leg, put them in your bag, do whatever you need to do. But it's the tiniest thing that makes a difference. Putting ears on adds... Looking at a pair of ears right now.
4 or 5 inches?
Probably, maybe like 3 or 4.
With the bow?
Yeah, I'm thinking with the bow. But it also adds it out wider too, so now you're blocking from more angles. And if someone's sitting directly in front of you, that can make a big difference. And when you have kids behind you, they're looking up. So those ears are making a huge difference on the amount that they can see. Yeah. So when you get to a show, sit down and take your ears off until the end of the show.
I'm like a pretty average sized person. All things considered.
Isn't the average man like 5'9"?
I'm like a pretty average person.
Rick's 6'1", everybody.
And 6 foot. And when I sit down in shows, if possible, I'll even just like slouch down in the chair a little bit. Like, I'll just like slide down in a little bit, just because like there are people behind me that are shorter than me, so like I don't want to block their view.
It's not at all because you're trying to take a nap.
No.
But again, like if you're tall. That's not what I'm saying is an issue.
Yeah.
I'm the tall person sitting there too. I'm all torso, so when I sit, I look just as tall as Rick does at 6'1". It doesn't.
If you get to the fireworks an hour early, don't move because the shorter person wants to get there.
Yeah, no, that's... However, that does bring up what the next one is that I have here. Mm-hmm. And this is more about like the parades. I feel like this is like parades and cavalcades where this comes in. If there are kids there and you're in the front, like, let them stand in front of you. If you're all the way on the edge of the curb and you're sitting down, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, if you're a grown adult and there's a kid behind you, if they're in front of you, they're not going to block your view.
Yeah.
Kids in front.
Yeah.
They're like, that's
kids
just...
in front, one parent right next to you.
That's just like kind of like being aware of your surroundings. Mm-hmm. I feel like, and just worrying about other people. Like, just let the kid in front of you, let them see, and you'll be good to go.
Parades, I always get nervous because you don't even have the safety of a seat to be able to adjust like for height and stuff like that. And I feel like when we get to like the front of a parade, I feel like I'm just in everybody's way.
Well, I feel like whenever we're in the front, we're either sitting on the curb, so we're not blocking, or if there is a kid next to us, we're like, here, stand in front of us.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, parents don't need to be next to you. Parents, if you let a kid in front of you, the parent can see them and they don't care to go with the kid. They're like, that was very nice of this person to do 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Because the kid's obviously going to be old enough that you're like, hey, can they come here? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so like 99% of the time they're like, thank you so much. And they let their kids sit in front of you. No issue. Like, so I don't really think that's much of an issue. I don't usually have to worry about it during parades because either I'm behind people or I'm in the front but sitting or let it get in front of me. But yeah, that's just a matter of like kind of being conscious of humanity, being nice to people.
Yeah.
Be a good person. Pass it on.
Speaking of being conscious of other people and being kind, this is mine. This is my ears off.
Oh, this is your
rules.
pet peeve in Disney?
It's so annoying. Put your phone away when you're watching the fireworks or a show. You're never gonna watch the video again. You might show it to one person for a little bit, but guess what? It's on YouTube. Just go show them the YouTube video. It's the same thing, probably better quality. Put your phone away. It's disrespectful. I'm just gonna say it's disrespectful to be standing in a crowd of people and to think that nobody else wants to see it as bad as you do, to the point where you have to raise your phone above your head. That's where it becomes a problem. If you have your phone directly in front of your face, that's totally fine. No, I mean the light is a little annoying, but it's fine. It's when you start to get to the point where it's above your head that it bothers me.
I completely agree with that. Because my mental rule is always at your face. If it needs to go above your head, then now you're blocking people the same as if you had ears on or a big hat on.
Yeah.
It's if you can hold it at your face level, but you shouldn't be holding it any higher because then that's just not fair to the people around you.
Yeah. The light, like I said, a little annoying. I'll get over that.
I don't mind that. There's plenty of lights going off everywhere.
My problem is I have a problem with watching when people are recording right in front of me.
Do you watch it through their phone?
Yeah. I catch myself just like watching it through the phone. I'm like, well, no, I want to watch the actual thing that's happening.
That's really funny.
So that's a personal thing, so I'm not gonna get mad about that. But yeah, if the phone doesn't need to go above your head, that's all there is to it.
I've asked people to lower it.
Yeah.
I've been like, can you just bring your phone down a little bit? Especially, the worst is when someone puts the phone above their head and they're holding it so high up so everyone behind them is blocked by this phone. Because it's crazy how much this little 6-inch phone can block.
Oh, yeah.
So all these people are blocked by the phone. And they don't know that their flash is on.
Yeah.
And you're like, you literally have the flash on all of these people in front of you. And then you're blocking everyone behind you. It cracks me up. Because it's like, how unaware are you?
Yeah. And let me say, if you're raising your phone up to take a quick picture or like a 5-second video, that's fine. Like, everybody does that to a certain degree. But don't take a video of the whole fireworks show with the phone above your head.
Yeah, take the whole video with the phone in front of your face. I don't care.
Yeah. If you want to look at
hold it at your chest. Yeah. Maybe you get a good spot where there's no one in front of you. You can just hold the phone at your chest and get a good video.
Yeah.
One of my favorite videos that I got a video of Tinkerbell flying. And the phone, so during the fireworks, I put my Loungefly on the front of me so I could see it because like there's people all over. The phone was like resting on top of the Loungefly. I was just had my hands on that, and I was like, let me get a video of Tinkerbell, and I turned it on while it was sitting on my Loungefly and got a video of her flying over. And I was like, that was awesome. I didn't block anyone for it. Yeah. I didn't know what it looked like until after, but turned out great. It's one of my favorite videos. I post it all the time. I just want to share that because like that's
a fun story.
I was very excited.
Yeah. Don't go above your head.
Nope.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, you heard him. You want a fun one?
Yeah.
We didn't do a fun one yet. We've just been kind of ranting for
That's true.
29 minutes.
You just need to rant.
I agree. Sometimes you just gotta let it out. Plus, people are probably agreeing with us right now, sitting in their cars being like, yeah! I've had a phone block, me too. I always say I want to get a paintball gun and shoot all the phones. Like, imagine you just shot everyone's screen. How mad would you be if you held your phone up for 1 second to get a photo and someone shot your phone with a paintball gun?
Then I would be very mad.
But also, like, how fun would it be to be the person shooting the paintball gun?
Yeah, that would be really fun.
They want to break a screen, right?
Depends how far away you are.
All right, a water gun, but filled with paint.
Okay.
It's gonna be a good time. All right. Actually, almost all of them are fun ones that are left because we got really into the rant. This is my number one. This is my number one for unwritten Disney rules.
Okay.
If you get popcorn, we got popcorn.
Expect to share.
expect to share. No, really though, there are certain snacks that I just feel like if you get it, the whole group got it. You're gonna fill a popcorn bucket. Whoever's around me, if I fill a popcorn bucket, whoever is around me has the right to dip their hand in my popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
As long as I know them.
Yeah. If you're getting popcorn, you're probably getting a popcorn bucket because it's not that much more expensive to get a bucket. So just share, because then you can just refill it for like $2.
True.
So as long as you know them, let them have some.
What others? Can you imagine if I was like, "Don't touch my popcorn"? What other snacks do you think are like, if you get it, people have the right to try it, to have it?
Pretzel.
Yeah.
A bite if they want.
Like a pull off a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bite if they want.
Nachos, or like the buffalo chicken chips in Animal Kingdom. If you get something like that where people can just pick one, anything that someone can just put their hand in and pick one out, I feel like that is like you are taking the risk of you're gonna have to share this snack.
I think that's just with your family.
Do other families not share snacks?
No.
That's depressing. How do you get to try everything?
You don't.
That's so or you buy it yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think they share as much as you guys do.
All right. Well, if you got popcorn, we got popcorn. If you got buffalo chicken chips, we got buffalo chicken chips.
Yeah, I can't think of any other like standard Disney snacks. Dole Whip? Maybe you get a bite of Dole Whip.
See, but that's like, hey, let me get a bite of that. That's not, you're
Yeah.
just standing there eating it, and people are just gonna start grabbing
Yeah, I
it.
guess.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think popcorn's kind of in a elite
Cotton
zone.
candy.
Cotton candy wasn't gross, maybe.
First of all, wrong. Second of all, wrong.
Cotton candy's disgusting.
I don't even know if I've ever gotten cotton candy at Disney.
I've never gotten it in Disney because it's just gross all over the place.
That's just so upsetting. When we were at Universal, I got this drink that had cotton candy in it, and it went in and it melted into it. It was a martini.
I don't even like cotton candy flavor.
Oh, I do. That pure sugar. If it doesn't feel like it's rotting my teeth, it's not good cotton candy. But yeah, that's something that people just grab. But again, it's stuff that you can just grab.
Yeah. There's not much though.
Yeah, I guess. When everyone has their own fork at Food and Wine, then it's anything.
Well, yeah.
Then everything's fair game. You're at a festival, you better BYOF.
Yeah. Better be ready to share.
Oh, yeah. All right, next one.
All right, my favorite. Trash cans or tables.
Speaking of festivals, that's true.
Yeah, that's this is probably the number one unwritten rule of Disney, like stereotypically. If you go literally anywhere in Disney, you'll probably see two people in Disney shirts, Disney hats, just general Disney attire.
General Disney attire.
And they'll be eating on a trash can. And you might be like, that's kind of weird. Trash cans are gross. Guess what? They are. But there's not enough tables. So you gotta do what you gotta do.
Nothing is that gross in Disney. They're pretty clean.
If you think about it, the top of a trash can is probably just as clean, if not cleaner, than the top of a table that dozens, if not hundreds of people have already sat at during the day. With their kids, with their food, with their drinks. Like
I completely agree.
Some people just let their kids on top of tables.
Some people just let their kids on top of trash cans.
They do.
They're probably equally as dirty. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I think so.
The tables probably get wiped down more often by Disney cast members, but honestly, we don't know. Maybe they wipe down the trash cans pretty often too. They always look very clean.
Yeah. Small caveat with this. If you are going to eat on a trash can, just don't block the little flap thing.
Yeah, you got to eat on the other side.
Yeah, you got to make sure that people can still get into the trash can because you are still eating on a trash can.
That's the unwritten rule. There you go. I mean, they're both the unwritten rules, but again, just being aware of your surroundings.
Just make sure people can still get their trash in there.
Most of these unwritten rules are really, at the end of the day, just be aware, but it's fine. We could have just
self-awareness.
We could have just titled this episode "Be Aware of Everyone Around You," and it would have been the exact same effect as us talking for the last 30 minutes. I have a Disney trivia question for you about trash cans.
Okay.
Where is the one spot in Walt Disney World that there are no tops to the trash cans? That you put your trash in from the top rather than from the side?
The one spot in Disney World. The whole property?
I'm
Or just
99%
parks?
sure because every other park has the standard Disney trash can, where they're like decorated to their specific land and
Yeah.
everything. So where is the one spot on Walt Disney World property that the trash goes in from the top? There is a reason for it too, so we'll get there.
Is it Yacht and Beach Club?
Nope.
I feel like they do. I don't know.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
It's in a park.
Okay. Not Animal Kingdom because they'd be worried about all the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Not Epcot because you got to eat on the trash cans.
It's in Epcot.
It is in Epcot.
It's in Epcot.
Where?
That's the fun part.
Is it in a country?
Nope.
Is it in the place with the wings and the pickle milkshake?
Nope.
Is it?
No, that's where they have the talking trash can. The Odyssey building, the trash can that talks when you put your trash in.
Oh, I remember that one.
Kind of like the old ones from the mall.
Is it in the land?
No.
Finding Nemo.
No.
What's the new eating place?
It's not in there. And that's Connections Cafe.
Connections Cafe. Test Track.
Nope.
I don't even know.
When you get off of Guardians of the Galaxy, the trash cans there are not the kind where it goes in from the side. It's the kind that goes from the top because if people get sick from that ride, so they can lean in and throw up into the trash can when they get off. Immediately when you get off, there are regular trash cans.
Interesting. That's a fun fact for you.
Isn't it? It's the only ones. Everywhere else on Disney property, they come in from the side.
Even the other rides that you might get sick on?
I cannot think of a single one that has the top loading trash can at the end. I don't think.
Sure, Mission Space doesn't.
Mission Space just gives you puke bags during the ride. They handled that issue very differently than Guardians of the Galaxy did. They went for the cruise ship method. Okay, next one. You want to do another CAD?
Okay. This is a good one. Line cutting. There's a lot that goes along with this one. There's a whole thing to unpack with this one. So line cutting. It's okay if your kid has to go to the bathroom.
It's true.
And you got to get out of line real quick and go take them to the bathroom. No one's going to be mad at you for that. Kids,
you're at a family park. You're fine.
Kids don't always have as much control as you would hope over their bladders, and things happen.
And they have notoriously bad timing for having to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. So if you got to get out of line real quick and it's you and your kid, or it's just you, most of the time people aren't going to be upset with you catching up to your family afterwards. Here's where it becomes a problem. If there is, I'm going to say 3 or more of you trying to catch up with a group of people, stay in the back of the line, because that's when it becomes an inconvenience for people with you cutting by them. And even 3's not that bad. It's when you get to the more, but like everybody listening has probably had the experience where a group of like 7 or 8 people are like, I'm catching up with my family, and it's like, you are the family.
Mom! So you're about to take up a whole train.
you are the family. Like, what are you talking about? So don't send one person in to go save a spot and then have the rest of your 9 family members catch up with them later.
Oh, you know what's the worst? When the one person saving the spot is the person in front of you in line.
Yeah.
And the 9 people come up and then they try and like squeeze in and like fit in front of you, but you only left enough space for one person to have space. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And they just like expect you to move.
Yeah, and you're like, I guess I'll stand
like,
here.
I've been here.
I guess I'll squish into the wall. I'm picturing in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train when it's like the walls and you're just like stuck.
Uh-huh.
Like that's how you end up because all of those people just came in.
Yeah. If you have enough people, we'll say 4. If you have enough people to fill a normal cart for like a roller coaster or a ride or something like that, you don't have to catch up with them. Have them come back to you or stay in the back of the line and ride separately and catch up with them later.
I think it's hard to put a number on it. I think it's just like use your judgment on, okay, is there too many of us trying to catch up? Should we just either get on now and catch up later, like you said, or should they come back to us? Because it is hard because like if a mom took 3 kids to the bathroom, you
Well,
can't
yeah,
argue
and,
that.
that's different. If a mom took 3 kids to the bathroom, I get what you're saying. It's kind of situational.
Like if they, but then it also comes down to did they get out of line to go to the bathroom or did dad get in line and they went to the
Yeah.
bathroom and then caught up? And the other thing that really makes a difference, and this kind of happened after COVID. COVID kind of changed this, and I actually really like it. I'm not gonna lie, but there are probably people out there who hate it. Until you're actually in the queue,
Yeah.
people don't seem to mind. So a lot of the lines now are a little bit more spread out than they used to be during COVID, especially. But now that
Yeah.
we're back to not social distancing, but still the lines will kind of go out into the general area of the park.
General area of the park.
So people don't really seem to mind if you're getting in and out there. If someone runs and gets food, someone's going to the bathroom, like it's until you're actually in the part that is considered the queue. That's when people start to be like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, for example, going back to the Seven Dwarves example, like, when you rope drop or just when the line gets long, the line will start to snake back towards the circus. What's the circus area called?
Storybook Circus.
It'll start to curve back towards Storybook Circus. There's no partitions at that point. You're just wrapping around the area that the ride is in. When you're in that area and you're not at the partitions where the ropes are and everything like that, it's a little bit more acceptable for people to be getting in and out of line, like Gina said, because for the most part, that's not affecting your weight all that much because you still have such a long queue to go through. And like you said, during COVID, people got a lot more loose about getting in and out of line at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like people are still kind of in that boat where it's like, as long as you're not pushing people out of the way to get to your group, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Plus, that's when like people are in line while someone's parking the stroller, like, and so then people are hopping in.
Yeah.
So there definitely is a lot more lax towards that. Was I with you? No, I think it was at 407 week last year, and you weren't there when a group of high school seniors who were there for their school trip. We were in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train's line, and we had just gone through like the entrance area, and I don't know if you know this, if it's one of those things that unless you actually noticed it while you were in line, you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. So when you get in that queue, it actually goes downhill for a little bit and you are below the walkway at Magic Kingdom and you don't realize that there's such a big wall. There's like a big wall next to you. All of these teenage boys were in line. These girls come over and are screaming at them over the fence, like, hey guys, blah, 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 talking to them. The boys convinced these girls to jump over. They had just come, I think, from a dinner at the Contemporary. They all have on dresses. All of these boys are wearing khakis and polos. These girls all have on sundresses, and they're jumping over the wall. 20 girls must have cut us in line. But it was like, they're jumping the wall right now. Like, there's no one seeing this? Like, it was crazy. They literally were just climbing over, and then a bunch of these girls chickened out. And then tried to jump it later when it was just like a walkway, but then you could really see them. Yeah. They didn't get caught. And they were really lucky that they jumped in front of me and not an angry mom. Yeah. Because I was laughing. Because, okay, it is absolutely something High School Gina would have done. So I was like, this is hilarious. Probably not at Disney. Because my mom would have killed me. Yeah. But like, their moms weren't with them. I don't know. It's totally something High School Gina would have done. So I'm cracking up, but I could tell like these people around us were so mad. And after a little bit, it was kind of like, oh my God, they're still coming.
They're still going.
There's still girls jumping this fence right now. But also it was like, good for you. You're jumping this fence in like little heels and sandals, in dresses. They're like having the boys hold their dresses down so they didn't fly up. It was a whole thing. It was good. It was real entertaining. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
That is the unwritten rule. Don't do that, except that's actually written. They could have got banned. Okay, we only got a few more.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with being nice to cast members. This is a really obvious one. At least you would hope so. Stuff can go wrong, and cast members can really be helpful. And going at it with kindness and asking them for help with kindness is really helpful. It's hard because sometimes the cast member is the one that messed up.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you need to be mean to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cast member might be being mean to you. Just try and stay cool because just because that one might be having a bad day, that person might be having a bad day, maybe the person next to them will realize it and they'll help you.
Yeah.
So be as nice as you can to all cast members, especially if they are being nice to you. Say hello, say good morning. Just be nice. I will never forget on Christmas Day, no one told me Merry Christmas. Not a single guest.
Seriously?
Not a single guest told me Merry Christmas.
Wow.
I think because I was working on Christmas, that maybe they just assumed that I wasn't celebrating it. But I worked on Christmas Day and not a single guest told me Merry Christmas.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So no guest like while I was talking to them, or no guest while I was there was like Merry Christmas, thanks for working today, or anything like that. So small things like the fact that all these years later I still remember that no one told me Merry Christmas. Small things like that make a difference.
Yeah.
We had, if you need something fun to do, we brought stickers last time and had my niece hand them out to cast members. And they look so happy. It was like $5 on Amazon for a jumbo pack of vinyl stickers. And these cast members were loving it. And she was loving giving them out.
Yeah.
She was having a good time asking to give them. She was only 4. She's like asking to give them out to cast members, having a great time. So.
Yeah. Cast members want to give you a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
So let them. Don't give them a reason to not give you a good experience.
Yeah. Make their day magical. Be nice.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to characters, don't manhandle them.
Yeah.
Just be cool.
Yeah. Just
be cool.
Go with the flow.
If you see that your kid's being a little aggressive, pull them back, calm them down. Kids don't realize all the time.
Yeah.
Accidents happen. Be aware.
Yeah.
Be cool. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because we talked earlier about not ruining any magic, so we'll stop there. Be cool.
Be cool.
I think I've said be cool like 50 times this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Be aware and be cool.
Be aware and be cool. Next one is kind of it's the rules of the road meets Disney. If your car breaks down, you don't stay in the middle of the road if you can. You pull over to the side of the road and you get out of the way. It's the same with Disney.
Well,
if you got to do something, if your stroller is something falling off your stroller, if you need to pull over and if you need to say something to your kid real quick or
wait for people to catch up.
Yeah, just collect yourselves. Pull over to the side. It's going to save everybody a lot of time and headache. Not having to figure out which way they're going around you. If you do have kids with you and you're stopping a stroller and the kid's out of the stroller, then people are worried about not hitting the kid. They're not worried about not hitting the stroller. There's just a lot going on. And as crowded as it gets, there's pretty much always space on the side of the walkways where you can pull over and get out of the way. And even if there's not, by the time, like, when you pull over, people will start to, like, work their way around you and there will be a space open up.
Everyone is a culprit of this.
Yeah.
Every single person in the moment forgets. And that's fine. Just once you realize, move to the side.
Yeah.
Because the same people who will say, oh my gosh, these people are stopping in front of me, an hour later are going to stop in front of someone else. Everyone's a victim of it. Everyone is a culprit of it. So once you realize, move to the side. If you're aware before you stop, move to the side before you stop. But if you don't, if you just stop and someone flat tires your shoe, sucks.
The worst is when you're in the front of a group, like a big group of people that you didn't know was behind you, and there's no one in front of you, and you're like, oh, there's no one around right now, and you need to like turn the other way because you wanted to see something or you forgot something, and you turn around and you just run into a swarm of people coming at you, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
You're just like trying to get out of their way.
I didn't know I was leading the pack.
That's the worst. At least for me, that's the worst.
That's really funny. Well, you don't like people, so that would be really startling for you.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
It's happened to me a handful of times, like when I run to the bathroom and I'm planning on catching up with you guys somewhere else, that I'll go one way and then you'll be like, we're here now, and I'm like, and then I gotta turn around and then I like run into like 20 people and I'm like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Now the worst is when you when that happens and then you get like hit by a stroller or a flat tire and you're like, this is my fault. I can't even be mad. This is my fault.
Yeah. So yeah, just pull off to the side if you think about it. If you don't think about it, just think about it.
If you didn't do what you were supposed to, just do what you were supposed to next time.
It's kind of like how
don't mess
the
up
stuff on our laptop doesn't work. It's like it's not working because it's not working.
Oh my gosh.
Just work.
Does anyone else have a Mac? Because that's what my Mac says to me when an app's not working. It'll say will not open because it's not working, or it says like will not open because it's not responding. I'm like, you just said it's not working because it's not working. You did not tell me how to fix this problem at all.
That is correct.
It's like, okay, so I'm gonna restart my computer now. All right, we got two more.
Two more.
Do you want the funny one?
Let's do that one last.
Okay. I feel like everyone at some point, if they've been to any amusement park ever, has been personally victimized by this. It just really happens a lot at Disney.
It does.
People taking photos and videos in what is considered a dark ride with their flash on.
Which shocks me every time because all of those rides have a disclaimer before the ride starts to not do flash photography.
Yeah. Totally kills the illusion on some of them.
It does, yeah.
It's like, oh, there's the pole that's moving that.
Haunted Mansion is the worst.
No, the Seas with Nemo and Friends. Tell me why Haunted Mansion's worse, and I'll tell you why the Seas with Nemo and Friends is the worst.
Haunted Mansion is the worst because I haven't been on the Seas with Nemo and Friends in 5 years.
The Seas with Nemo and Friends, at one point, it's very old technology on that ride, and there's a fish swimming around. And there's a pole moving the fish that you can't see.
Uh-huh.
But when someone uses their flash, you see the pole moving the fish. It's like, you know, in the Muppets when it's like, did someone say cheap 3D trick?
Yeah.
Or I guess before that, when Kermit has the 3D sign out, that's literally what this fish looks like. It looks ridiculous. And if you put your flash on, you completely ruin it for everyone else who is within probably 2 shells in either direction.
I think Haunted Mansion... for me, just because I feel like at least every other trip, if not every trip, someone takes a picture with their flash on.
It is, though. It's the same idea as Nemo, where it's old technology. So, like, if you turn the flash on, you're going to see a pole, you're going to see a string, you're going to see something that you're not supposed to see, because there's a reason these rooms are dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair.
So.
Turn your flash off. Take photos. Sure, go ahead. Just keep your flash off.
Yeah. Take the crappy photos that don't have the flash.
Do that. And the last one.
Last but not least.
This one's just a fun one.
This one's just don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah?
No, you good. You always mention it when we see it, so.
Because it makes me laugh. Unwritten rule of Disney. Don't wear your Universal merchandise. Actually, there is a really terrible picture of 9-year-old Gina in a SpongeBob t-shirt. Unbelievable. Standing with Chef Mickey. The audacity of my parents to let me wear my new Universal shirt to Chef Mickey's.
Embarrassing.
It's like they didn't even care.
Look, we get it. You're doing a week trip in Florida. You're doing the amusement parks. You just did Universal. You're finishing off at Disney. Just get a new shirt. Just spend more money.
Just wear one that you packed. Just don't wear Universal at Disney.
No, this one's really not.
It's not that bad.
It's not that big of a deal.
Do what you want.
Just don't ask where the Hogwarts castle is.
Where to get butterbeer.
Yeah, just stay away from that stuff, and no one's gonna care.
This is your friendly reminder that Harry Potter is not at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
You cannot get butterbeer at Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care when I see the shirts. It's when people start asking where the Universal stuff is.
But this is the most magical place on earth. Harry Potter is magical.
It makes sense.
It does. No, like, again, on paper, cool, but don't wear your Universal stuff. Although I've talked about this before, people get like the Harry Potter mouse ears, which I feel like are wear that at Disney, don't wear that at Universal.
Yeah.
Because that's just getting mouse ears made with a fabric or something that you like.
Yeah.
But mouse ears are still, that's Disney.
Other caveat.
Ooh.
Any superhero is fine. Because there's that whole weird thing with Spider-Man and the Hulk, how they're kind of Disney but kind of not. Any superhero things are fine.
But does that like fall into the category of like, if it's a superhero shirt from Universal, then it's not fine? Like if you're wearing a shirt for like the Hulk coaster, is that approved to wear to Walt Disney World?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, because I
would say that's considered wearing Universal merch.
It is, yeah. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because the Hulk is a part of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ride. It's not like it's not like you're wearing your Hogwarts house shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you went on this ride. If you got a shirt for the Hulk, first of all, why is that your favorite ride in Universal? But if you got a shirt for the Hulk,
I like the Hulk.
you must have liked the rides. So get a shirt. That's fine. Go ahead, wear it. But I think that's fine because, like, the Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men, they're all Disney to an extent, you know?
What's your favorite ride at Universal?
I really like the Spider-Man ride.
That's Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
What's your favorite ride at Universal?
I like the new Minions ride.
Really?
The one with the blasters, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Why?
That's just not what I thought you were going to say.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know, but not that.
That one was so fun.
Because I thought that was like, oh, it was cool. The points were kind of confusing. Once I figured it out, it was a little bit more fun, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Minions.
That's fair. You do like Minions. That's all of them.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Unwritten rules.
The unwritten rules of Disney. Live it up. Let us know what you think. Do you follow these unwritten rules? Do you think that we are just being too picky and need to calm down and stop being so negative? Or are we actually being really positive and trying to help people have a better experience? It's up to you to decide.
If we missed any big unwritten rules, let us know. Message us on Instagram, Spill the D Podcast. Go on TikTok. Gina's been doing TikTok again.
Once a week.
Once a week.
I've made it my 2024 goal.
If you saw the reel from our last episode, go watch it on TikTok because
not all the words
stuff on TikTok.
Not all the words posted to Instagram. It's literally like 3 seconds of words, but it made it really funny and it didn't post to Instagram, so people on Instagram don't get to appreciate the humor.
So yeah, Spill the D Podcast on Instagram. What is the TikTok?
Spill the D Podcast.
Spill the D Podcast on TikTok. spillthedpod@gmail.com if you want to email us, if that's your preferred method of communication. Let us know if we missed any unwritten rules. Let us know which one of these is your favorite. If you think any of these are bad unwritten rules, you can also let us know that.
If you think we're crazy.
It's fine. I get it. A lot of people do. But that's all we have for you for this week. So until next time, we will
see you at the castle.